Hey guys, Robert Cardillo here from the Hurt Handbook, and today on the pod we have a very special guest. Dare I say, friend of the show. He's been on before. He's on again, fresh off of a first round submission win at XFC. We got Zac Pauga on the pod. And Zac, how you feeling after the big win?
I'm feeling great. It's been a while since I had a win. So feeling great, feeling good. It's fun to talk about being an MMA fighter again. So doing good.
And so, like you mentioned, it's been a while since that last win. Like, how does that winning feeling, how does that feel now, getting back in that win column and getting the career back on track a little bit?
It just shows it's like I know why it's so hard to walk away now. Like I had a loss, a long layoff, another loss. Your mind starts thinking. You start going like, should I do other things? Are there other ways to earn money? And then you just get that one win, a good, quick win, and it's like, no, I'm doing this forever. I'm just going to be choking people until the day I die.
I mean, it was great to see you win in there, man. And like for those who don't know, the win was at heavyweight too, so you went back up there like you were on The Ultimate Fighter. You mentioned feeling reinvigorated. Can you explain like kind of what went into that decision and why you feel so good now back up at heavyweight?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's so much that goes into it. Cutting weight is a skill. It's like being fast. It's like being big. It's like being strong. It's like having good jujitsu. Some guys are just good at cutting weight, and I'm not one of them. Like I never missed weight, never ever missed weight, but I was not a guy that could cut and perform. Like if you go back and look at all my light heavyweight fights compared to my heavyweight fights, I'm a different person. I don't have any gas, don't have the finishing power, but there's this idea, especially amongst like old school MMA coaches, to fight as light as possible. If you can make the weight, you should make it. You should fight it that weight. But what I came from, right? I came from peak performance, being a football player, trying to be as big and strong as possible all the time. I had never cut weight until I was 33 years old, so that's just too late in life to just try and pick up this super difficult skill of cutting 35 pounds of water, because that's what I got in this heavyweight match at 242. It's what I weighed in at. That's my like normal walking around weight. So I'm cutting 35 pounds, 36 pounds, and then trying to fight for my life the very next day. Some guys are great at it. I'm not one of them. And I think I do well at heavyweight. As I've shown, I have had success at heavyweight.
Well, I know you've mentioned in our last interview, I remember we talked about tough and how you felt a lot faster at heavyweight. What other advantages do you see at that weight class that maybe you don't have at light heavyweight?
So the speed is I feel like I'm just a fast fighter in general, but it's the cardio. I lose. That's what I lose when I cut all this weight and dehydrate myself. I lose my cardio. I lose my ability to take a punch. That I lose all of that going down in weight. And my game plan is to like blitz guys, put the pace on guys, and I can't do that when I'm cutting weight. And I feel like just naturally, I'm a strong person. People, that guy that I fought, he weighed in at 270. He was above the limit, but I was still stronger than him. Like I am a strong individual. And oh, I'm 20 pounds heavier than this dude. Hopefully that helps somehow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely could see that, in the fight for those who didn't see it, obviously you worked your grappling really well. I mean, it seemed like right when you got on top of him, it's just like from the highlights that I saw that you posted, it was almost like a bear hug on the ground. And then obviously you get the arm triangle. So like getting back in that win column, what does that do like for your confidence? And especially now at the new weight class in a sense at heavyweight, like what does that add now to your future?
It opens up all the doors. It's exactly what I needed to happen, right? If I go in there and lose or even win a hard fought, scrappy decision, there's not a whole lot of places for a UFC vet to go after that. But I go in there and do what I did, take care of business, submit that guy in 2 minutes, show that I'm still elite level. All the doors are open now. I have options, choices for where to go and to continue my career and keep this professional fighter thing going.
And to talk a little bit about like those options, is it, are you currently thinking, okay, get back to the UFC or get back to a bigger promotion like right away? Or are you willing to kind of just like, put in that work, get those quick finishes and just kind of like focus on what's in front of you and then maybe that'll lead to where you want to be? Like, what's the mindset like right now for what's next?
So I mean, I still I want to show what I have, right? And I feel like I did that last fight. But organizations, there might still be some questions about me, and I'm totally down to go out and destroy some more regional level guys. But it's not necessarily like UFC or bust for me. My goal right now, I have a family. I'm just trying to provide for them, and I'm trying to go to organizations that pay their fighters. And unless you're at the tippy top, that's not really the UFC. Like there are, Gamebred, BKFC, these bare knuckle organizations that are paying guys to come in and fight for them. And, I would love to go fight for one of those organizations and make a little bit more upfront, knowing that I'm sacrificing at the end of my career if I become champion, right? That's the roadmap in the UFC. You take a hit up front, hoping that you're going to become the next Conor McGregor, right? But you know what? No one's become the next Conor McGregor yet.
Yeah, I think with him, it's definitely proven to be one of one. And like you mentioned, those other promotions that you were talking about before, do any of them stick out as like a top pick for you in terms of like what you're looking for next in your career? BKFC, PFL, things like that.
I would love to do Gamebred. That if it were up to me, is that one like I got to pick? I would love to do Gamebred. I like the bare knuckle thing interests me a lot, but I'm an MMA fighter. If I were to go do BKFC, it would be limiting a lot of my skill, grappling, kicks, knees, all of that is my game. I would be limiting myself in a boxing match. So I would love to do Gamebred, and I'm just hoping that we work something out after Jorge has his boxing match with Diaz, and that something comes from that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be really cool. I think he's doing a really good thing with Gamebred from the things that I've seen on social media and stuff. So I think that that would be a cool option. And like being outside of the UFC now, I wanted to ask you this because you wonder like what the mindset would be like, right? Like your UFC run, it didn't quite go as planned. Obviously some of the losses were worse than others. Like I remember the fight before your last loss, we were talking about how that was kind of a robbery. So like now that you're kind of like outside of that, does some of the pressure kind of go away because you've been there now? Or is it the opposite in the sense that you want to keep winning so you can get back to those like higher promotions, like a Gamebred FC, and maybe even just working your way up from there?
So for me, at least, kind of all the pressure was off. Like when I went into this last fight, it was like, if whatever is going to happen happens. If I don't smash this guy, then I don't deserve to be who I think I am. Like, and I had the best performance I've ever had, taking all that pressure off of myself. Like my UFC fights, and you live and you learn. It's easy to say this now, but I was obsessive, crazy about my last fights. Running miles every week, which is good. You have to prepare, but I put so much pressure on myself that I wasn't able to perform fight night. And that's on me. That's on me going out there and not getting it done. This last one literally came up on like 3 weeks notice. I'm always training. I'm helping. The fight came up and I was like, sweet, I'll do it. And if I don't smoke this guy, I don't deserve to be in the UFC or any of these big name promotions. And for me, it worked out way better than this obsessive, crazy Mamba mentality, up at 4 a.m. running, ice bath, everything. that is my usual approach.
And like now getting the win because of that like mentality shift. Even on Instagram, I saw that you posted, it was a video kind of talking about like the mentality shift that you've had in terms of like how you're dealing with the results of the fights, because you said you used to put a lot of emphasis on, losing and like what that means for your career, and like how in reality, like success, I guess, is relative to what you think. So, can you just kind of talk about that mentality shift and how that's kind of changed the outlook that you have? Because I think it was pretty insightful, at least when I was watching it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of a little bit of what I just said, but before, my entire life was about winning. Everything, my football career, my rugby career, my fighting career, it was win. That's the only thing that matters. Win. Do anything it takes to win. Sacrifice anything to win. And I mean, it worked out okay, but then when you lose, what are you left with? I was like stuck in a depression after I got cut from the UFC, got off of social media, and I was just felt horrible. But my life didn't really change. Nothing really changed in my life other than this number next to my name. Nothing really. I still had my family, still had a roof over my head. Nothing changed except for my feelings about myself. So, just going into this most recent fight with this attitude that I had, where I was like, I don't care. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to go perform in a way I've never performed inside the cage, and that's exactly what happened. And that's what I said in my Instagram post. What I want hope that people could appreciate, that I'm posting this after a win. Right? It's easy. It's easy to say wins and losses don't matter after a loss, but I hope that people can understand that after a win, I'm saying that this win doesn't matter. Yes, I'm happy. Yes, it was cool, but it's the least important thing in my life is winning these cage fights.
I mean, the mentality shift definitely seems to be working really well,
Mm-hmm.
judging by that last performance. And either way, obviously it's a fight. It's not even, in my opinion, it's almost different. Well, it's actually very different than other sports, because in other sports it's a matter of like wanting to win. In MMA, you really need to win because the consequences of losing are so much worse. And I think you have to be like at least like a pretty competitive person to get into this sport. And obviously you have the background in football and rugby. What kind of like led you to get that competitive in the first place? Like, where does that spirit kind of come from? Because even now, you know, after your UFC run, you're still very energetic about MMA, and like it seems like you have this whole new freedom, but you still really want to win because you want to bring the best out of yourself. So like, where does that competitive nature come from initially?
It's just a curse, man. It's a curse I was born with. I was a little brother. I had an older brother who was an athletic freak, set all the records at our high school. What was just a specimen, athletic freak. And I was just my entire life, every single day of my life was about beating him, being the best at everything, right? If we're mowing the lawn, I want my side of the lawn to look better than his. And that's like I said, it's a curse. And my son has it now too, but it's just that competitive gene. I don't know how to explain it, but I just grew up with wanting to be the best at everything I ever did, no matter what.
Is there any like advice that you kind of get from competing at the highest level in multiple things that you're able to like pass on to your son, who obviously, like you said, has that competitive nature like you do? Like, what wisdom can you pass from your career experiences? Not even just from MMA, but like anything
Mm.
at a high level.
So yeah, and I'm still learning. And what I'm finally getting to right here, as like I said, I've made the same mistake in three. I've been a professional athlete in three different sports, right? But that means that I've been like had to retire from two other sports. But it's this same concept of like you can almost want something too bad, and winning is the exact same way. The more you want to win, the more you're willing to do anything to win, the less likely it is to happen. Like it's more about being loose, being open, being prepared. Like this is not a reason to not prepare, to not train hard. That's where people get messed up when they get towards this like ideology. You still got to prepare. But once you're there, once it's game day, it's time to just have fun and to do it. If all the stress, all of the second guessing only gets in your way. Once you put the work in, just have fun. Just go out there and get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see what you're saying there. I mean, not from my end, I would definitely say it's not athletically anymore. It's definitely more from like the journalism side, trying to like push my way up in MMA media. For just to tell you, I last played sports. I mean, I played sports all through my upbringing, but then in high school, I played basketball. You know, I'm 5'9", like 155
Mm-hmm.
pounds. I'm not making the NBA. So I
Yeah.
figured my energy would be best served somewhere else. And you know, through this MMA media, like just dream that I've really been able to live, I definitely see what you're saying, because at first I think I was always very like results oriented. I have to do this, have to do that, and I have to be this much better. But now just being prepared and just enjoying each moment definitely has made the content a lot better. And I think it's led to more success. So I definitely see what you're saying there. But to ask you an unrelated question, well, sort of unrelated because we're talking about sports, but the last interview it was just before the Super Bowl. And if I remember correctly, you said that if the Chiefs win, you're going to stop watching football for the next decade. So now that that's happened and the off season is almost done, well, sort of almost done, do you think that you're going to hold up on that, or have the Broncos excited you throughout the off season?
Unfortunately, the Broncos have not excited me. Unfortunately, I'm taking. I can't commit to 10 years, but I'm taking this season off. I'm not. I hope if the Chiefs win again, then it's for real going to be 10 years. But I'm taking this season off. I'm not even paying attention. I don't even know who the Broncos quarterback is going to be. Like I can't. I can't even. It's beyond like rage. It's just apathy. I don't even care. I don't even care what the Broncos are doing, and that's like the worst spot to be at as a fan. It's like I'm not even mad about what they're doing. I just don't care.
Oh, sorry, you cut out for 1 second at the end there. I got like the main part of that. But yeah, I definitely can understand that. At least me coming from the perspective as a Saints fan, our schedule's a
Uh,
bit tough. I feel a little bit indifferent because I don't think enough has changed. And I don't know if it feels the same with the Broncos, because obviously, in a way, a lot has changed because Russell Wilson's gone. You guys drafted a new quarterback, but yeah, in the division with the Chiefs, that's a
I
tough
know.
road. At least the NFC South sucks. So I
Yeah,
can kind of,
exactly.
yeah, really the Falcons are the only team that really worries me, but who knows what's going to happen this year, honestly. But you know, it was great having you on here. It's great to talk to you after a win. I could feel like the difference in, I guess, like your demeanor, just how loose that you seem and how much like freer you seem mentally. And it's great to see you get a win. I'm definitely really happy for you, man. But is there anything you want to say to MMA fans on the way out here?
No, just I'm not done yet. Stick with me. Keep watching. I'm still going to put on some great performances for all the fans here coming up.
Awesome. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that moving forward. And thank you again for coming on here. And hope we can do this even more times. Like I said, friend of the show.
Absolutely. I am a friend of the show. Friend of the show.
Awesome. One time I definitely got to get you on because me and my co-host, we like to kind of do our interviews like separately just because it's easier, you know, talking one-on-one. But at some point
Yeah.
we definitely got to get you on the podcast with both of us. So I know he's a big fan too, even though the initial connection was for me and you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be great.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did. And like I said, thank you again.